You and Your Young Child, a program of information and services available for you and your child from prenatal to age 5. You and Your Young Child has been brought to you in part by Minor Family Dentistry and by the Sternberg Museum of Natural History. Minor Family Dentistry would like to bring you the following dental health tip. It's recommended to have a dental checkup no later than your child's first birthday. An adult should brush for a young child and monitor older children's brushing to ensure a good job is done. Flossing should start when teeth are touching. Minor Family Dentistry wishes you good dental health. Families, including children of all ages, are welcome. Minor Family Dentistry, 1010 Downing and Hayes. Find them in the Next Tech directory.
It's 40 feet long. It's a cold-blooded killer. And it's prowling the galleries of Sternberg Museum. It's Super Croc. 10 tons of tear that you've got to see to believe. Sternberg Museum and Project Exploration bring you a creature so big it was a dinosaur's worst nightmare. Don't miss your chance to see the science of Super Croc, only at the Sternberg Museum, Hayes, Kansas.
Hello, and welcome to You and Your Young Child, the program devoted to early childhood. My name is Dana Stanton, and I'm the coordinator of the West Central Kansas Smart Start program. And today, I also have with me Andy Stanton. Welcome, Andy.
Good morning.
And I'm going to talk about a subject, and you're going to interview me. We do this every once in a while when I need to be interviewed. So I'm going to give you the microphone, and you do the interviewing.
Okay, that sounds great. Well, welcome to the show, Dana.
It's nice to be here.
What are we going to talk about this morning?
We're going to be talking about a training that's coming, a workshop that's coming up for parents and professionals. It's sponsored by the PACT group.
Now, PACT, what is PACT?
PACT is Parents and Children Together. It's a group of volunteers, most of us who work in early childhood. The goal of this group is the prevention of child abuse in Ellis County.
Okay, and what is the subject of the training?
The subject of the training is called the period of purple crying.
Okay, that's a new term for, I think, for a lot of us. Could you explain that a little bit of what is also known as PPC, period of purple crying? What is that?
That refers to a time, now, we can talk about when we had our son Jackson, when a newborn, sometimes they cry for no reason. They're not hungry, they're not wet, they don't need a diaper change. Just for whatever reason, they just can't be consoled. They cry and they cry, and that's how they describe that time, is the period of purple crying.
Okay, so typically what age group does this affect?
Usually it starts at about 2 weeks, and this can vary, and sometimes up to maybe 4 months old. There's just that time where the baby's really cranky and lots of crying. In the old days, they might say that baby was colicky. One of the things are the parents can't console the baby, so they think there's something wrong with my child or there's something wrong with me. So that from about 2 weeks to 4 months.
Okay, and it's very alarming, especially for new parents, because as we found out, they don't give you an instruction manual when you leave the hospital with that newborn, do they?
No, there's no instruction manual. So this is something that new parents really need to know. And this is something that's research-based. One of the things that research tells us is this usually occurs in the late afternoon, and you and I can attest that that's when this period was for our child. And what makes that so bad is, it's at the end of the day, you're tired, or maybe you're just getting home from work and you're tired, so your nerves are kind of worn thin anyway. And no matter what you do, the babies kind of refuse to be soothed. Not all babies, but a good majority of them. Lots of crying, and there just doesn't seem to be anything that you can do. We don't want to confuse this with a child who's maybe ill. A lot of times your mommy or daddy sense will say this child is ill and take them to the doctor. But this is a healthy child that for whatever reason just cries a lot.
Yeah, I remember when Jackson was a baby, he, again, was a very healthy child, but there were those moments late afternoon that he just could not be consoled. Okay, so why is it called the period of purple crying? The child doesn't turn purple, do they?
No.
Okay.
If your child turns purple, go to the emergency room right away. Purple, each letter stands for something. The P stands for peak of crying, which means that escalates until from about 2 weeks up to 4 months. The U in purple is unexpected. The crying comes and goes, and you don't know why. The R is resist soothing. The baby just doesn't want to be happy. They're just crying, and usually, you can soothe the baby. You can rock or you can pat them, but during this time, nothing seems to soothe them. P, a pain-like face. They look like, their little face is all bunched up, and they look like maybe they're in pain, but they're not. Long-lasting. This isn't just a 30-second type of episode. This is something that can last for hours. The baby just cries and cries and cries. And then the E is in the evening. The crying is usually worse in the late afternoon to early evening hours. So the purple, that's where all those, each letter stands for something in that diagram.
Okay, now the training is for both professionals and for parents. Mm-hmm. What are the parents going to learn in this training?
Well, probably the most important thing is that they need to know this is a normal part of an infant's development. So a lot of that helps you when you're dealing with a child who's crying like that, just to know in your back of your mind, this is normal. I'm not a bad parent. I don't have, there's no such thing as a bad baby, but this is very normal. So that this is all fine. It also will teach them ways to deal with the anxiety and the frustration, because sometimes it's better for that baby, if you're feeling really stressed out, to put them in a safe place like their crib and walk away until you've calmed down and you're better equipped to deal with your child. And also they'll give some tips on what might help soothe your baby. Sometimes there's no soothing them during this period, but it'll give you some tips on rocking them back and forth or patting them on the back, or a lot of people will take them for a ride in the car. So it'll give some tips for parents to better deal with their child during this time.
Okay, and for the portion of the training for the professionals, what will they learn?
Well, this program is something that's being implemented statewide through the Kansas Children's Service League, and the Hayes Medical Center will be implementing it. Each time a baby's born at Hayes Medical Center, they'll go home with a DVD that tells them about this period, to expect this with your child. It's normal. It's a normal part of your child's development. So we want all of our professionals, doctors, OB nurses, general practitioners to understand that we're giving this information to our families so we can all be coming from the same page. So this is just not even a community-wide, but a statewide program.
Okay. And as you said earlier, this seminar is sponsored by PACT, and one of PACT's main goals is to prevent child abuse. How does all of this fit in here?
Okay. Well, the organization that started the Period of Purple Crying program is the Shaken Baby Syndrome program. Each year, 1,300 infants in the United States are hospitalized or die from shaken baby syndrome. And this is where a parent becomes so frustrated that they don't know what to do, they lose control, and they shake the child. 1 in 4 who are hospitalized for this, they'll die. 80% who survive will have significant disabilities, brain injuries, blindness, deafness, fractures, paralysis, cognitive and learning disabilities, and even cerebral palsy. So understanding about this time where it's just normal for a child to cry will hopefully help parents kind of keep a better control of themselves. In a really stressful situation, it's hard for parents. So the whole Period of Purple Crying was developed by the Shaken Baby Syndrome with the goal of decreasing those incidences of Shaken Baby Syndrome, which can be catastrophic for a child.
Okay, if people are wanting information, when is the training? Where is it at?
The training is August 12th at the Sternberg Museum. The session for professionals, and this would be doctors, nurses, social workers, that's from 1 to 5 at the Sternberg Museum in the education room. And then the public session is from 6 to 8, and that's once again at the Sternberg, August 12th. This would be for parents, for grandparents, a child care provider, an aunt or uncle, anyone that's around a newborn would really benefit from taking this class. The workshop for professionals, there is a charge, but the one for the general public is free. There's no cost for that.
Okay, the ones for professionals, do they need to pre-register?
Yes, they need to pre-register. They need to give me an email, and my email is dstanton@usd489.com. We'll have that at the bottom of the screen, or call me at 623-2400. But the general public, they can just show up.
Okay, anything else you'd like to tell us about the PPC today?
No, you'll learn all about it at the training, and we really encourage everyone to come. And I guess I'll close by saying you've been watching You and Your Young Child, the program devoted to early childhood. Parents, remember, you are your child's first and best teacher. Thank you.
Thanks for watching You and Your Young Child, a program of information and services available for you and your child from prenatal to age 5. You can watch the program weekdays in the noon and 9 o'clock hours. You and Your Young Child has been brought to you in part by Minor Family Dentistry and by the Sternberg Museum of Natural History.